It's supposed to be 70 degrees today. It's freezing here. Speaking of global warming, we need some global warming. It's freezing. It's time to put America first. That includes a promise to cancel billions in climate change spending. Our plan will end the EPA.
As there has been an increase in both climate change and natural disasters, there is a possibility of a correlation between the two. In our documentary project, we are going to show you climate change's effect on natural disasters.
Along with that, the amount of carbon dioxide measured from 2005 to present has increased from about 378 parts per million to 407 parts per million. The global temperature has risen 1.4 degrees Fahrenheit since 1880.
Natural disasters have become even more disastrous and dangerous than ever before. In this past year alone, there have been hundreds killed in typhoons, flooding, mudslides, and hurricanes.
Climate change detection studies have linked increasing tropical and Atlantic sea surface temperatures to increasing greenhouse gases. The link between increasing greenhouse gases and the power of the hurricanes, along with other extreme storms, includes a measure of its frequency, intensity, and duration. These have been based on correlations used to infer future changes in hurricane activity. The large increases in sea surface temperatures projected for the late 21st century would imply very substantial increases in the potential destructive power of the hurricanes. This is roughly a 300% increase.
As climate change becomes more dangerous, it is causing natural disasters to worsen. With hurricanes like Harvey and Irma, there is solid evidence that climate change is causing problems. Looking back at other natural disasters affected by climate change, we can see Typhoon Haiyan, the deadliest Philippine typhoon on record, killing at least 6,300 people, Russian droughts, causing 22 regions to suffer crop losses, and Pakistan floods, affecting 20 million people, are some of the worst natural disasters caused or affected by climate change. One way in which climate change could impact hurricanes is by making them more intense. More heat and water in the atmosphere and warmer sea surface temperatures could provide more fuel to increase the wind speeds of tropical storms.
Global warming doesn't necessarily cause the storms, but it does intensify them. The human-caused changes in climate make the storms wetter, stick around longer, and do more damage before dissipating. This is because as global warming occurs, the warmer air has a greater carrying capacity for moisture. Therefore, it can hold and deposit a lot more water than cool air can. However, these warmer ocean waters bring more intense storms. This is why global warming has played a role in about 14 of 28 storms, droughts, and other extreme weather events investigated in 2014.
Carbon dioxide is an important heat-trapping greenhouse gas, which is released through human activities such as deforestation and burning fossil fuels, as well as natural processes such as respiration and volcanic eruptions. The amount of carbon dioxide has increased from about 379 parts per million to 406.94 parts per million as of September 2017. This graph shows the change in global surface temperature from 1951 to 1980. The year 2016 ranks as the warmest on record. 16 of the 17 warmest years in the 136-year record all have occurred since 2001, with the exception of 1998. The gray line represents the annual mean, while the black line represents the 5-year mean. Overall, the temperature has gotten consistently higher and is set to continue.
With this visual, I'll explain how a hurricane forms, along with how global warming contributes to a natural disaster like this. Because of our carbon dioxide emissions and contributions to global warming, warmer air occurs, hence the warmer ocean waters. When tropical ocean water reaches over 82 degrees, warm, moist air rises over those spots and creates thunderstorms. Then, upper winds and surface winds combine to form a tropical depression and progressively intensify the storm into a devastating hurricane. The increased climate and wind speeds make the storms more likely and more intense.
We headed down to Dana Point to see what the public thought about this. Yes.
Yeah, I do. I think so.
Yeah, 100%.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, I do.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, I don't believe in it. It's a fact, so not something you believe or not. It's just. It's pretty complex, but for the most part, to simplify it, it's the changes that man is putting in the atmosphere and the makeup of the planet. So, dumping chemicals in the atmosphere and changing the output of oxygen through deforestation and massive agriculture, cattle, that sort of thing.
I think it's primarily pollution in the air.
And what do you think the main causes are of the climate change?
At the moment, it's man-made pollution because if you look at the core samples in the Arctic, I actually went to the Arctic and did that. You can see bubbles from different centuries. And the last time carbon dioxide was this high was during the Permian Triassic mass extinction, where a supervolcano in the Siberian traps actually let a lot of carbon dioxide, methane, and all of these gases out, causing a huge warming effect, causing our oceans to stop having currents, making it stagnant, killing the fish, wildlife trilobites, and all of that. So people say like, oh, this is a naturally occurring substance. Yeah, I guess it is, because we are part of nature after all. Humans are a natural being, and our activities is contributing to the warming of the globe. And having been in the Arctic myself, like just a couple months back, the water was not frozen when it should have been, because that water was coming straight from the Gulf Stream, which is a lot warmer than it is usually, so it's taking longer to freeze. On top of that, with less ice on top, there's more sunlight getting absorbed, so it's causing an effect. So to the people, well, this is what we could do. We could tell governments, corporations, with our buying habits. If, you know, for one thing, the reason why politicians in the US say global warming doesn't exist, insurance companies will not insure coastal communities in Florida 20 years from now. Obviously, with the current president, who's going to say, oh, that doesn't exist, who has a lot of investment in properties in Florida, of course it doesn't exist. So stop listening to the politicians, you know, listen to the environment.
It's kind of hard because everyone has their own like footprint, you know, so to get everyone to change their footprints would take a lot, you know, so it's hard because on your own you may make a small impact, but it's hard if you don't get everyone to
A lot of ways. How we eat, how we farm, what we consume. I think probably the biggest change as an individual that you can make is as a consumer. Our biggest influence over a vote for a legislator who's probably not going to do anything anyway. But the biggest influence we have is how and where we spend our money. That's kind of how we vote. So if we're buying over-consuming things like wheat, corn, and cattle, we're influencing the marketplace and how they're going to grow those things, again, contributing to deforestation as well. Doing our best to be energy conscious.
To decrease global warming, I think that decreasing our carbon emissions, our CO2 and other greenhouse gases would be the best method of reducing climate change, of reversing the effects of climate change. That's what I believe. Yes, scientists, a lot of evidence has shown that the increase in hurricanes and the increases in natural disasters is being caused by climate change. When the climate is changing, these hurricanes and the effects on nature are being increased.
You know, that's a good question. I don't know if I can answer that. I don't know if I know enough to answer that question. So, you know, my gut tells me no, but who knows?
Yeah, you can they're all getting worse, and there's a lot more hurricanes and stuff popping up, and winters and stuff on the East Coast. I know they're acting very bizarre.
Yeah.
Than how they usually are, Yeah. A lot of family that lives out there and stuff. So yeah.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, guys.
Absolutely. The intensity of the storms is in direct correlation to warmer oceans. It's a no-brainer. Warmer oceans means more moisture in the atmosphere. More warmer air means, lighter. Warmer air is lighter, so it's gonna rise. And then what's gonna take in from that is air that's cooler. So it's gonna be like a huge plume effect, right? And from that, you're gonna start building clouds. You're gonna start getting condensation, wind, and then all of a sudden stronger storms. All right, I'm ranting. I'm not a meteorologist, but I just know a tad bit how storms are made. And
without a doubt, one of the biggest influences is warming of our oceans. Warming of our oceans and adding of carbon to our oceans. So we're affecting not only the temperature of our oceans, which influences where and how strong a hurricane can be, but we're also influencing the shoreline with coral reefs and vegetation, as well as eliminating wetlands, which has a huge impact on flooding.
After hearing from the public, we decided to get a professional's point of view. We spoke with Justin Kegabine, an expert in environmental science and sustainability.
Climate change has wide-ranging effects that can lead to some natural disasters. For example, as weather heats up, ice caps melt and sea levels rise, displacing people and animals alike. It can also increase the intensity of droughts and storms. On a personal level, we can all reuse, reduce, and recycle, conserve water, reduce the usage of aerosols, and try to bike rather than drive when possible. Humanity as a whole should turn to renewable energy such as wind farms and solar power, and promote forest conservation, as a large amount of the Earth's carbon is stored in trees and plants that are being cut down and burned. It seems so. It sounds like a good starting point in the effort to reduce carbon emissions. It would help the United States cut greenhouse gas emissions while working toward a clean energy future.
We hope this video has shown you the harmful effects global warming has on our Earth. If not dealt with, life as we know it will change dramatically. By working together, we can fight climate change for a better future.